What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for yet another Tottenham update. But before we get into it, do go and check out our website, WeAreTottenhamTV.co.uk, for your latest Tottenham articles. And you can be within a chance to win some We Are Tottenham TV merchandise as well. Go on to the articles, put your best comments in there, and we will be doing an episode reacting to the best comments there, and we'll be picking a comment of the episode, and that commenter will be winning a t-shirt to their front door. So go and leave your best comment and we'll see how it goes. But let's get straight into the update and let's talk about Raphinha once again. A Sport claim that Spurs are keen on signing Raphinha in January, but Barcelona wants 70 million and the Premier League side are not prepared to meet their valuation. Barca are open to a player exchange deal and are long-term admirers of Cuti Romero. I mean, I can't see that one being a goer, to be honest, after he's been made vice captain. So I think that one will be completely off the table. And 70 million is always going to be a sticking point for Spurs. That's never going to happen as well, especially in January. So unfortunately, I can't really see this one happening.
I mean, I couldn't see it happening beforehand, but especially not a swap deal for Romero, no chance. I wonder if it is a swap deal for Romero, who commands more money? Is it Romero plus money, or is it Raphinha plus money for Romero? I think
Romero. I actually think Romero is worth more.
Probably, I would say at this stage, especially given how poor Raphinha has probably been in Barcelona. And I was reading some of the comments on the website about our last when we talked about Raphinha last time, and they made the point that despite Raphinha being like obviously very talented, a really good player, do you think Ange would maybe looks at his personality and thinks, because he was quite adamant to get to Barcelona, wasn't he? Would he see Spurs as like being a step down if he was to come here? Would he have that kind of ego about him? Maybe that's also a...
he might have been brought down a peg or two, though, being on the periphery at Barcelona, though.
Yeah, potentially. That's also true. I guess we don't really know, but I guess it's something to take into account. But I can't see Tottenham splashing 70 million on him. I can only see Tottenham going for this kind of deal if it's like a deal that makes sense, you know, for 40, 45 million, something like that. I don't see Tottenham really pushing the boat out.
I've not really associated him like with someone with attitude problems, though.
I'm not saying he's got an attitude problem, but I'm just saying when he left Leeds and he really pushed that Barcelona move, and then 18 months later he's kind of leaving there and going to Tottenham. Would he see Tottenham as a step down? Would he come into Tottenham thinking he's like a major star, he should be starting every game? I don't know. Who knows? That's maybe just something to consider, I guess, when you're looking. I don't think he's got attitude problems, don't get me wrong, but it is something to consider when you're signing a player from a big club like Barcelona. But
I don't think we would sign him if that was the case, because Ange Postecoglou would, you know, have talks with him, see where his head's at, and if his head's not in the right mindset, Ange won't even want him here anyway.
Yeah, but then that goes to again how much control other departments have over signing and stuff like that. But obviously Ange has made it quite clear that he's the one who has the final say, so obviously he has to live and die by those transfers. I would love Raphinha to be part of the team, but I just don't think a transfer from Barcelona, especially in January, is workable. But it is something that maybe in the summer, if he's still not getting proper game time, and if his price decreases, maybe that's something we can look at. I don't think January is viable.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I'm definitely, if we could bring him in any sort of capacity, whether it be in January or whether it be this summer, I'll be massively behind this transfer. I think he would add so much quality to the front line that we are lacking at the moment. So that's Raphinha. Let's move on and talk about Job Bellingham, the brother of obviously Jude Bellingham. The Footy Insider claims that Tottenham are keeping close tabs on Sunderland sensation Job Bellingham. It is believed that Spurs have been tracking the 18-year-old all year after he first caught the eye in January at former club Birmingham City. The club have regularly dispatched scouts to watch Bellingham, who has started all 16 championship games for Sunderland this season. Bellingham, the younger brother of Real Madrid superstar Jude Bellingham, is a versatile midfielder who can play in the wide and central roles behind the main striker, with 3 goals and 1 assist already to his name this season. He has helped make Sunderland promotion contenders, who currently sit 6th in the championship table. And another player who's also made Sunderland promotion contenders is Jack Clarke. So yeah, first of all, Jack Clarke's doing unbelievable this season. Job Bellingham, in terms of him, I would actually love to see him through the door. I've seen a few clips from him from Sunderland this season. He does look electric at times, a very young player, and he's got it in the genes as well. So bring him in.
Well, why not? If it's a good deal for us, obviously 18 years of age, he's pulling up a lot of trees at Sunderland at the moment. Impressed when he was at Birmingham. Seems to play a similar role to his older brother, like a centre mid who likes to get into the forward areas, likes to play behind the striker as well. Obviously, Bellingham has Jude Bellingham, that is, has almost become like a natural number 10 now. When he was at Dortmund, he was more of a number 8, and he's almost like a false number 9 actually now at Real Madrid. So he's really developed his game in a different kind of way. Job is still playing, in central midfield at the moment, and he's definitely playing. I think he's got 3 goals, 1 assist so far in League One this season. I mean, I'm not against it. It's just one of those things that if does signing him prevent one of our youngsters that we have right now with their pathways, I don't know, but that's something for the coaching department to decide. If they really believe this guy could be as good as his brother, or even half as good as his brother, it's probably worth
even a quarter as good as his brother, to be honest. I genuinely believe his brother is on his way to being the best player in the world right now, the way his trajectory at the moment. Yeah, that's how good he is.
Jude is really set the world alight. But we have to wait and see whether he's just like had an amazing start and whether this is going to be this good for the whole time. But he's been up. I can't believe how well he started at Real Madrid. It's been sensational.
Yeah. So that is Joe Bellingham. Let's move on. News piece from Fabrizio Romano, and he says, last summer Tottenham secretly tried to sign Atalanta starlet centre-back Giorgio Scalvini. He was one of the players on the list, but they did decide to go for someone different. I'm guessing that was obviously Mickey van der Ven in the summer. This Scalvini is an interesting one, though, because he is performing really well at Atalanta. I think when Conte was here as well, this guy was one of the ones on the list. I would like to see him come through. I think he's a top talent that is coming through the ranks, and he's got a big future ahead of him. I haven't seen much of him play, but when you look at the underlying stats of what he's brought to this Atalanta team so far, and maybe his attributes on a football pitch, I think he could be a really good asset for us.
Yeah, I remember he was one I was looking at in the summer as well, about one who we should potentially be looking at and bring in. I think I don't think he's even 20 yet. I think he's 19. Really, really young centre-back. He's tall. I'm pretty sure he's left-footed as well. And I remember for Atalanta, he was doing really, really well last season. But I think the sticking point was a big price tag they were asking for him. Obviously Van der Ven, and even I think he was going to be even more expensive than like Tapsoba, who was on the more expensive side. Yeah, it was going to be very, very expensive. I remember they're looking at him, so it's not surprising they went in another direction. He's clearly on his way to being one of the best centre backs, one of the best young centre backs in Europe for sure. He's already that. He's had a fantastic 18 months or so at Atalanta, but I think at this point we've got Van der Ven in. Romero's there. I would love to sign him, but again, it's going to be big money, and at his age. With players like Phillips and Dorrington there, do we want to sign a player who's 19 and when we already have 2 really good prospects at that age? I understand maybe before Van der Ven, but I can't see us spending big money. As much, if it was up to me, I'd love to do it. I think he would be massively beneficial to us and he would add really good depth to the centre-back area. I just can't see us spending the big money it'll probably take to get him in.
Yeah, I mean, it depends how much. I'm not sure how much of a fee he will command. I'm looking to see if he's got sort of like any sort of release clause in his contract, but it doesn't say he does. But Transfer Market are ranking him at about, or valuing him at 40 million euros already as a 19-year-old.
So double that probably.
Yeah, most likely. He's already had 7 caps for Italy. He's played more or less every game for Atalanta this season, scoring 1 goal in the Europa League.
He's still 19, right?
19 years of age, yeah. So yeah, you're probably right. He probably will command a big fee. He is right-footed, actually, not left-footed. I would love to bring him in, though. Like, if you can get him in for like a decent fee, 40, 50 million, which I doubt. But if you can get him for that ballpark figure, I'd actually do it. Yeah. Because I think he's a player as well. Not only can play on the right, but can play on the left as well. I think he can play both sides. So actually great cover for both Romero and Van der Ven.
Yeah, I could agree, but I think that's probably why we moved away from him, probably because of his price tag, I would imagine.
Yeah. I agree. Another player that's been linked to Spurs is Lenon Miller of Motherwell. Team talk say that Tottenham head the lengthy queue of clubs to jostling to sign Motherwell midfielder Lenon Miller. Miller has emerged as one of the most promising young players in Scotland, and he has been rewarded with his progress pending a 3.5-year deal earlier this week. And the Daily Express say that Tottenham and Newcastle have joined the lengthy queue of clubs to try and sign Lenon Miller. He did break into the Motherwell team this season, and he's actually a really interesting player. He's 17 years of age. He's played across defensive midfielder, central midfielder, and attacking midfielder this year. He's had 4 games in attacking midfield, 4 games in central midfield, 1 game in defensive midfield, 19 games all in all this season, 1 goal, 1 assist in all competitions. For a 17-year-old, that is really impressive.
Yeah, even if he is in the Scottish League at that age, to be a regular player for Motherwell, got to give him credit. So clearly a very talented player. And also the fact that he can play multiple positions, or he has shown to, maybe shown he's got really good game understanding as well. And to have that at that age is rare and impressive. So not to be sniffed at. So why not? I mean, I've never seen him play. I can't really comment about how good I think he is or anything like that. But from what you're telling me, he seems like an amazing prospect.
Yeah, 17 years of age, already getting first-team football quite regularly. So we'll see what happens with that one. But let's talk about some potential outgoings. Let's start off with Richarlison. We brought you the news last week that Saudi clubs are circling for Richarlison. However, the Footy Insider says that Tottenham are expected to reject any January offers for Richarlison amid interest from Saudi Pro League clubs as they want to retain the Brazilian services. Richarlison is determined to remain in the Premier League amid links with the Saudi Pro League switch.
Yeah, it makes sense. But again, I think money talks. If we do get a ridiculous offer, which, you know, Saudi clubs are be known to make, then I think maybe our position could change. But as I said, I don't think, I mean, me personally, the way he's playing now, I would take even a loss on what we paid for him right now, to be honest, how he's playing. A small loss, that is. But if I'm Tottenham, I wouldn't even do that in January unless you've got someone who's ready to come in, like you, and you've got them lined up. I don't want us to sell Richarlison for a loss and spend the whole of January trying to get someone and not get anyone in, and then we're stuck missing out on a player. So I can understand Tottenham's position being he's not for sale. That probably is the right position right now, but money talks, as they say.
Look, when you look at it, right, you've got Sonny going to the Asia Cup in January. We're not going to have any striker if we sell Richarlison, literally. So we have to keep Richarlison around, because what are we going to do when Son goes? Unless we bring in someone in the first few days of the January transfer window.
Well, you got Brennan who can play up front. But look, I'm just saying, obviously, if they offer obviously, I think Richarlison has to stay unless we get a ridiculous offer. That's my position. Obviously, if they bid 80 million or even up to 100 or whatever, I think you've got to take that. But then it goes to Richarlison. Will he want the move? They're saying he wants to stay in the Premier League. So it sounds like there have been players who've rejected big moves. You got Osimhen, who rejected a big move to Saudi.
Did.
Sonny, I don't think even Tottenham accepted a move, but Sonny,
but he came out and said he had no interest in it.
So it's maybe he's in that camp as well, where he wants to achieve footballing goals before going for the big money.
Yeah, and I respect someone that does make those decisions, to be honest, because I feel like, players with ambition are always going to be more valuable to you than players that are chasing the money. So I do hope Richarlison can turn it around at Spurs. That's the sticking point here. But I'm just, at this moment in time, I'm just unsure if he can or not, to be honest. But let's move on to the last story of the update. And this is regarding Alejo Veliz. Calcio Mercato say that Bologna are looking to bolster their front line in January transfer window and have set their sights on signing Tottenham forward Alejo Veliz on loan. It is an interesting one. To be honest, though, with Son going out to the Asia Cup, I would like to see him stick around for January anyway, because we are going to be really light in that area.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think for his development, I think a loan to Bologna would probably work really well. Get him some regular game time if they're going to play him. But I don't want a situation a bit like Scala where we send him on loan and he just sits on the bench for 6 months. That doesn't help anyone. You might as well have kept him if you're going to do that. So I guess they need assurances that Veliz is going to get regular game time. And if he is, I think it would be worth it, even if I know Son's away. Maybe it's a thing like at the end of January we send him and keep him around for while Sonny's away. But I would say that if the opportunity is there for him to get regular first team football, I think we should take it, because I think in the long term it will benefit him.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, I'm not sure because I don't know. I think he can be used, to be honest, in January here, but that kind of makes you think like, what about the rest of the season from February onwards? How much game time is he actually going to get? So it's a hard one to make the actual decision. I would prefer him to see minutes in the English football rather than going to Italy or places around Europe. But if Italy and Bologna is the only option for him, then it probably is better than just sitting on the bench here. That's the honest truth. So it all depends on how much minutes he's going to see in January. But do you really want just those minutes to see in January to hold him back for the rest of the season? So it's like it's a hard one, to be honest. But it is what it is. Let me know in the comment section below. What would you do with Alejo Veliz? Would you like to see any of the players that we have mentioned through the door at Tottenham this January transfer window or in the summer? But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.